Okay, so let's actually start putting some practical application to our parabola formula. Don't forget, and I've written this, I don't know how many times already in the podcast, y equals to ax minus p squared plus q. There it is. But now if you read the question, it says a suspension bridge whose center portion is 12 meters long. So we're looking at the center portion, 12 meters long, is made with ropes and logs. So this is some kind of little suspension bridge over a creek or something. The ropes form a parabola with a point 2 meters above the center of the bridge. That's very important. And the ropes are attached 6.5 meters above the ground or above the bridge on maybe some sort of stilt or something like that. So some suspension beam or something. Now, so we're obviously reading this a second time just to get the whole understanding of this thing. It says a suspension bridge whose center portion is 12 meters long. Okay, it's made with rope and logs. So ropes and logs, I'm not too worried about. Okay, but the fact that they form a parabola is what I really am interested in it, because then you can start using this formula. Lowest point is 2 meters above the center of the bridge, and they're 6.5 meters above the bridge. Okay, so let's go. Here's the parabola that they're talking about, right there. Perfect. Okay, so look at this. This center portion, and I'm going to try to pick the best center portion right here, is 2 meters above the bridge. Okay, the bridge from here to here, okay, is 12 meters long from here to here. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this. First thing I would do is I would put an XY coordinate down. I'd put down an axis. Why not? Here's my X, Y coordinate. There's my Y. There's my X. Look at that. Beautiful. I can actually put it down right like that. Awesome. So what does this mean? This point is 6.5 meters above the bridge. So, okay, that's 6.5, but what is the coordinate of that? Well, that would be 0, 6.5, because after all, 6.5 is the vertical, right? Look at this coordinate out here. That's also 6.5, right? But how far is it? Well, how far is it? And then how far up? Well, that's 12 by 6.5. You have two coordinates to deal with now. And also, you're told that this lowest point is 2 meters. There's your minimum. So guess what? You have a coordinate for that as well. From here to here, halfway would be 6. And the height is 2. How do I know it's 6? Half of 12. Halfway point, right? Everything's symmetrical. So this is no different than what you've done in the previous podcasts. It actually becomes quite routine. There's your X, Y value. There's your P. There's your Q. Find the equation. So let's just substitute it in and find the equation. So my Y value is 6.5. Your A you don't know. My X value is 0. How nice and convenient. Minus my P value, which is 6. Okay, squared plus Q, which is 2. All right, let's start solving this. This is 6.5 equals to A. 0 minus 6 is minus 6. Squared is 36. So it's 36 plus 2. Okay, subtract 2 from both sides. This gives us 4.5 equals to 36A. Now, from this point, I really don't like decimals. I love fractions because you get more out of a fraction. If you remember last year in Math 10C, right? In Math 10C, you used fractions to determine rise over run. And you couldn't do that very well with a decimal. So here's what I suggest you do. Boot up your calculator, okay? Now, hold on. I'm just going to bring up my calculator. Okay, so here's my calculator, and I'm just going to put this in as 4.5 divided by 36. And watch what happens. The fraction is, or the decimal is just ugly. I mean, you go from a single point decimal to now like 3 decimal places. That's just gross. Go over to math. There's that first thing that says frac, which means change whatever you've got into a fraction. And let's do that. Answer, math, frac it, and look at that. You got 1/8. So look at this. Your new equation is y equals, there's your A value that you just determined. Don't forget, there's your P and Q, so x minus 6 squared plus Q, which is 2, and there is your formula for the suspension bridge. Awesome.